Welcome back. All right, so this you can tell I'm busy this week because I have to keep reminding myself to eat. That being said, we're going to talk about the Winnipeg Jets now that I've just finished my treadmill. I'm still finding time for treadmill this week. It's not easy, but I'm doing my best. So the Jets are number 7 on the all-time power rankings, and so for the Winnipeg Jets, no, I had a shower already. I'm not gross. That being said, the Winnipeg Jets have had a remarkable season this year, and it feels like it's necessary. Like to start the year, there was soft attendance in their building. A lot of discussion about why. I'm not here to dump on any of that. I'm just here to say, hey, the team turned out to be pretty good. Early in the season, there were complaints from some Jets fans that the team was mediocre and they wouldn't support a team that was mediocre. The team's proven they're not mediocre, which is good because for years, I've never once said they need to blow up the core. I have seen that. I've seen people say it. Oddly enough, I've seen it from people who will then say Toronto doesn't need to blow up the core. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, why is Winnipeg's core bad and Toronto's core good? But either way, we're not here to debate that. We're here to talk about the Jets. In terms of points percentage, since 2017-2018, they have a 604 points percentage, which is 10th. So the fact that they're 7th on the power rankings overall tells you they're a little bit ahead of where they are in the point standings, but not that much. It's not a huge difference between the points percentage of 10th, set 9th, and 8th, so it's fine. Their most recent power rankings number, again, January the 20th, they were 2nd. So 2nd on the power rankings. Their top scorer over this point in time will be a surprise to no one. And what I love is the numbers, how they come out. So for years I've said, if you want a player in your fantasy league who's guaranteed to be a point per game guy, it's Scheifele. Now last year he didn't quite hit that point per game mark, but he had a bunch of goals. He was a 40 goal scorer. And this year he's back to about a point per game. Now currently as I'm recording this, he's been injured. So hoping he's not going to stay injured. But in 458 games, again, going back to 2017-2018, he has 196 goals, 263 assists for 459 points. So it's been a remarkable run for Scheifele. He is right at a point per game, 1 point more than games played. That's Mark Scheifele. The top goalie for wins is Connor Hellebuyck. Absolutely Connor Hellebuyck. A record of 222, 132, and 35, and a save percentage of 918. And as long as they have Hellebuyck and Scheifele, and oh look, they signed both of them to long-term extensions, I think this team's going to be pretty good. They did make the playoffs in 2023. Now, the difference between 2023 and this year is last year they didn't look all that interested in making the playoffs in the second half of the season. This year already looks better than last year. So that's good news if you're a Jets fan. Now, when we look at the overall rankings, this year they have an average of 7.33. The highest they've had is 6, 2018, 2019, and in 2017, 2018, they had a 5.92. So you can see that 3 of the 7 years on the board, they've had a pretty good run. Their worst run was 2021, 2022, and their average was 17.35. But every single season, they've been top 10 at least once. So they've had good runs every single year. They've been in the top row 64 times, second row 59 times, and third row 34 times. So it's something. Bottom row, nope. Just nope. Winnipeg's never been in the bottom row on the power rankings. So that's saying something. The lowest they've ever been is 22. And that was 2019, 2020. So that's a pretty solid run for a team. So that's where the conversation comes in about, well, yeah, they haven't been bad, but they haven't been great. This year, they're toying around with the idea of maybe being great, and I think it would be awesome if they were. My wife's favorite team, so of course I'm rooting for them on some level, but I've also got an affinity for a lot of the players on this team. The Jets are a very entertaining team. They're a lot of fun to watch, and I like to see teams that are a lot of fun to watch succeed because then you get copycats in the NHL, and then you get a lot of teams that are entertaining. So the overall run here, you can see the peaks this year. They have had runs at number 1. Here they are at number 2 back-to-back weeks. And in previous seasons, you can see the peaks. You can see the peaks over here as well. And so, yeah, they've been number 1 in 3 different years, including this one. The first 2 years I was doing power rankings as well as this one. So, yeah, they've had a pretty good time of it. Now, what do they need at this point? Well, first off, they have to have a full building. The owners, while they have deep pockets, and that's one of the reasons why the Jets are a very stable franchise at this point, despite being in a smaller market, it does feel like in order to keep that building full, they've got to be a really good team. And so that's a whole discussion we can have another time, but it does feel like that's the case. Now, I know there's other economic factors and people buying tickets and everything, but that does seem to be part of it. A healthy roster is really important. So Morrissey got hurt last night. Scheifele's been out. So you can't afford to start losing major pieces of this team. And of course, Connor's missed a lot of time. this year as well. And there are others. There are others. There are others who've missed time for Winnipeg. They've managed to stay at or near the top of the standings, but it is important to have a healthy roster going into the playoffs. Look at the Vegas Golden Knights between 2 years ago and last year, the team that made the playoffs and won the Stanley Cup last year, and the year before where they missed the playoffs. The difference is health. The players weren't healthy for Vegas. They didn't make the playoffs. Players are healthy for the run in 2023. For the most part, there were some injuries here and there, but your main core guys stay healthy outside of your goaltenders. And Vegas is a Cup champ. So in order to be a Cup champ, there's some good luck you have to have when it comes to players staying healthy. And so Winnipeg's a team that I hope gets healthy and stays healthy going into the playoffs. And they need that long playoff run. If the Winnipeg Jets are out in the first round, people are just going to say, frauds. The Jets have had some point out that the PDO, and I talked about PDO with the Canucks in a video earlier this year, Winnipeg has a really high PDO as well, which is shooting percentage plus save percentage. And if it's a really high number, well above 100, it's seen that that's probably not sustainable. So in the second half of the season, that'll probably come down a little bit for the Jets. But I don't expect them necessarily falling way back in the standings. I don't think they finish anywhere below second in their division. So they should have home ice advantage in the first round. They need to make it work. The whiteout hasn't been a good luck charm for them. I, on some level, think, and I know this may be sacrilegious to Jets fans, maybe try something else, because the whiteout just hasn't done. And again, I remember back in the 80s when they started the whiteout thinking they looked like they just surrendered. I couldn't get that out of my head that it looked like everybody had surrendered. It's the same as the waving white towels. Those were towels of surrender, not victory towels back in Vancouver back in 82. It started with a towel of surrender. I find it so... And it's so weird that waving the white flag has been seen as surrender everywhere in the world, but in the sporting world, it's rally. All right, sure, cool, fine. It's been over 40 years, so I get it. People see it as a rally towel. I see it as surrender. And when you have a whole crowd all dressed in white, everybody's surrendered. So I've always envisioned teams coming out on the ice and saying, well, this isn't going to be too bad. The crowd's given up, so that's great. Anyways, all kidding aside, they need a long playoff run. This is a team that doesn't get into the bottom row ever. They've been in the top row more than any other row on the power rankings. They're a pretty good team. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you have not done so already. I forgive you. Just go ahead and do that. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.